saying that the reason Kevin was so good at his work is that he placed family, community, and his relationship to the universe, God, first, and his work was to support that process. He didn't place his work first. And I think a lot of people, it really, your work supports you in what you want to do in your life. And so I think that when you place the power of the universe and you place the connection to spirituality at the center of it, and you just trust that the rest is given to you, it always unfolds so beautifully. So it's a good story, yeah, right? And that's our emphasis. And it is about responsibility and accountability, and you and I had a long conversation today, and we talked about how many similar pieces we have in our thinking. And then that creates the affinity, the reality, and the communication between two individuals. And then that's where we begin our conversation. And then we find out that we're connected in other ways.
And it's interesting to find common ground. And I think that's why stories are so important and allowing the stories to unfold. And there's a balance because you've got to give and take, share, be willing to take feedback, and give feedback,
Yes.
So I like what we're doing today. I'm a little bit unsure where to go because usually we have a topic. Somebody's making a lot of noise. If they can mute, that would be great. We usually have a topic so that I can wrap my mind around. So now my mind is going I'm trying to track everybody, what they're saying, and it's it just comes. It's interesting. It's just whatever's on somebody's mind, the top of their mind. Here's this story, here's this story. So when it comes to my turn, it's well, what story do I have? Oh, my God. Life is long.
Oh, did you drop?
No, I'm still here. Here. I'm not sure what's going on. There's a lot of noise.
Is that better?
Yeah. It was somebody was running a marathon or something with the phone in their hand. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
So I'd like you to give me a topic. So what do we want to talk about now?
Okay. So tell me what it's like to live on the island. What's it like to live in paradise?
Well, Maui is a very interesting culture. It's about 40% white, about 35%. There's Hawaiian, Native, Polynesian mix. There's Japanese, Chinese, Asian mix. So there's the Islanders, and then there's the Asian cultures. There's the white culture. And then there's about 0.5% what we would call African American black. So I get really confused about all of the identities because this is such a mixed culture here. And so it's I guess people on the mainland are going, what race are they? And I'm just going, wow, this is just the world, right? It's everybody, different colors, and mixed couples are just more common. Even when I was on Oahu, which is predominantly Asian, Polynesian Islander, Pacific Islander mix, it was very unusual to see a couple of the same race. They were just so used to mixing. I came here in 1993, and I escaped the East Coast, and I love my home, but it was killing me. So I realized it was either leave or die. So I left all the cold weather. There's somebody making noise again. Okay. So when I arrived here, this is a hippie culture, and things tend to be about 20 years behind the mainland. So when I arrived here, there were no Walmarts, no Costco's. They did have a different store. It wasn't Lowe's or Home Depot. Got bought out. So since I've been here, all those things were built. Kmart was there. There were mom and pop stores, real mom and pop stores, Ho'okos and Uoka and all these So I've just seen this huge, and I've been here 23 years, so it's just changed massively. When my husband started coming here in the 60s, there were only about 30,000 people full-time. There's about 130,000 people full-time.
Wow.
And then being in an island, you have people that are peripatetic, or, about a third of the population is probably tourists. So we don't have any tourists right now, or not much. The planes aren't coming in, and even inter-island travel has been limited because of COVID. And we're really afraid of getting it because we have one hospital, and I think it's like 200 beds. So if it goes through our 130,000 plus population, it will pretty much, you'd be having to stay at home or with your health care in the parking lot if you could get into the parking lot. It's just it's not something anybody can wrap their head around. What these big cities have, I go to California frequently. I have in-laws that live in Rancho Palos Verdes, and so I'm very familiar with that part of the world. And you have a lot of places to go. But you pretty much you can get around the island in one day, and that's my world. It's very small. And so it's a hippie culture. So when I came here, Maui was the Tantra capital of the world. I'm not sure what all this noise is about. Let me see if it's my fan. Hold on. Maybe my fan. I don't know. Is it wind? So when I came here, what we used to do is go to Little Beach. And Little Beach is on the other side of the island, and it's a place where people come from all over the world and get naked. And they have a drumming circle, and they dance to the drums as the sun goes down. And literally the whales and the dolphins come, and they play didgeridoos, and they jump in the water. And people applaud when they jump. And they're attracted to everybody on the beach who are singing and playing drums. And but I haven't gone there in a while because it's quite a journey to get there. You have to climb up over this rocky cliff, and sometimes the waves are washing in. You have to time it to get up. So the wave doesn't wash out the sea. It's kind of quite the adventure. But everybody in the world comes there. When you walk down the beach, you can hear all these languages because people like to come to a tropical island and get naked. So that was fun.
That is great. I think it's interesting because in Western culture, when we encounter somebody who has difficulties, we sit down and we want to talk to them and we want to listen to their story and we want to give them comfort and clarity about their story. But if you go into Africa, the way that people work through their pain is through the celebrating of life, and they dance and they play music, and they see that as the way to heal their inner pain. And so it's a cultural difference, and it is. I mean, people went there to Africa to listen to the stories of what had happened to the people. And they were very surprised that the people didn't want to talk because they said, well, this is how we work things out. Go ahead and tell me your story. And the people would say, no, that's not how we work it out. We take and we dance and we listen to music. And so there is something powerful about a drum circle. It puts you into an altered state. It's a moving meditation. And as the result of that moving meditation, you go into an altered state. And there are, there's religious processes centered in that of the ecstatic dance. And,
right.
And so the movement creates the altered state, which creates the freedom, which creates the integration, which creates the connectedness. And so it is a different way to celebrate life and to move through pain. But each culture approaches these issues differently. And so when we tell these stories, that's how we find out how we're connected and how we're connected to our life view or how we believe life should be. So I happen to really think that Africa is just this incredibly beautiful culture, and I went into Africa and I went into Rwanda, and when I was in Rwanda, we went into the Congo, and it is just such a peaceful, quiet people that are very humble, very hospitable, and very much about the generosity of sharing through music and dance. And what a beautiful, beautiful ancient civilization. And Rwanda speaks one of their languages, Swahili, and Swahili is considered the most perfect language. And we know one of the proverbs, and one of their proverbs is to speak softly and carry a big stick.
Oh, yes.
There's another part to that proverb, and it always eludes me. But you listen to the Romans and the centurions, their saying was guilt, contempt prior to investigation is the formula for ignorance. And so when you listen to the proverbs of a country and their religious and their separation from one another and how they create that is through their proverbs, how their thinking is quite unique. But there's so many ancient civilizations alive today, and it is really a great thing to connect through these stories. And so when you tell me the story that you go out onto the island, you go to the sacred point on the beach, and you do this dance, and you honor nature, and the dolphins and the whales join in, what a perfect story. I mean, what a really perfect story of connecting, right? That's about connecting.
Uh-huh.
Right?
So we would do intensive therapy all week with Tantra school, and people think, oh, Tantra, let's have sex. But you can't get to the sex till you work out all this stuff because it's a long process. And so we would take people deep into their processes, and then we'd start talking about their sexual issues, and then people would have a party about that. And then the final party was Saturday was a party at our house. Sunday, you wrap it up with Little Beach and get clothes off. So you don't have to go there and get naked. But so that was a good psycho-spiritual process for people to go through. We did that for 10, 15 years.
Wow.
We may pick that up again. I don't know. We're getting old, though. But we might pick it up again. But another thing is you can go to all the towns. When I landed here, I go, what is this, the Wild West? It all looked like Western towns. Bahia, they've got those little storefronts, and they're too big, 2 stories high, and flat roof, and they're, you know, the 2-lane streets. You try to go through town, and your traffic is backed up for miles. But if you go to Bahia, and there's a health food store, and in every little town they have a health food store. So this is a health food, you know, hippie community. And you could see Steven Tyler walking down the street, and somebody would be playing a guitar on the street, and he'll come over and start playing with them. So that's the kind of, you know, we have these celebrities that just walk around and, you know, they want to come to Maui and hang out on the beach and go to the restaurants, but they're all relaxed. There's not the paparazzi type thing, because I think somebody was telling a paparazzi story earlier, and it's just like, you know, you kind of like walk, oh, he looks familiar. Oh, Steven Tyler, you know, whoever it is, right? And you go, well, hi, how you doing? So it's not a lot of celebrity celebration. But we used to have George Harrison here before he died, and we have Willie Nelson. Like, you go to the theater, they have one where they play the alternative kind of cultural movies once a week on Wednesday, and you're just there to another Wednesday, and here comes Willie Nelson. Hey, I just want to say hi to everybody. I really like this movie tonight, and I hope you enjoy it. And you go, okay, Willie Nelson is here. Goodbye. So that's what's nice about culture. And then one last thing is that if you want to go to these alternative churches, there's like the Temple of Peace, and they have all these alternative. It's a wonderful alternative community. Nobody would understand it unless they come here. And then you go, oh, okay, I get it. So when I hear all the troubles of the world, right, you guys on the mainland, it's like,